This is Sora's Transforming Mech Bike Racer, one of my favorite Ninjago sets which was released earlier this year. It has this really cool feature where it can transform from a mech into a bike, and I think that's fantastic for play. However, when the Ninjago Dragons Rising show came out, this mech actually had a third form, and that form appeared more than the other two. You see, this one was still a mech, but the wheels for the bike sort of became a jetpack instead. Now, I think the original Sora mech is a fantastic toy, and there's not much I'd change about it. However, I was curious if I could rebuild this set using only parts from this set into a mech that more resembles the third version of the mech from the show. And honestly, I think I did fairly alright, so let me show you how it turned out. So here's my custom Sora mech. The parts used in this video were sent to me by LEGO, but of course the build and everything else is my own. And I'm pretty happy with this. It looks similar enough to the original mech, but I also still feel like it's distinctly its own. So let's go through all the different parts of it. First, of course, the most important thing was the giant wheel jetpacks out the back. And I was trying a few different ways to incorporate these, but only using the parts of this set, I couldn't figure out like a good way to attach them. I ended up deciding to put them on like these cat ear attachments that are on the original mech. Taking a look at the original mech, they're more like shoulder blades on this one, but I inverted them here to make room for the wheels. And they also still serve as sort of shoulder blades. They can still be articulated a little bit, but there's not a huge range of motion there. But yeah, they're still able to spin, and you can imagine the mech using them to propel upwards. There's how all that looks from underneath. Then the cockpit itself is similar, though there is a few distinct differences. For one, the giant wheel that was at the front of the original mech is no longer there. That's of course an important part of the bike transformation in the original mech, but it didn't have that in the show, so I wanted to remove it in my version. I also introduced a lot more of the dark blue pieces at the front right here because again, that's similar to what it is in the show, but I still want to keep these scratch symbols around the side, so I moved them back a little bit. And the cockpit itself is similar, though it's a little bit smaller now, though you can see Sora herself still fits in there just fine. Here's a look at the original mech in comparison, and you can see there's also this stickered piece with Sora's cat symbol at the front right here. Unfortunately, I couldn't find a good way to incorporate that in my version of the mech, so I just had to leave it out. That's a bit of a shame because I like using the stickered pieces wherever possible, but I just couldn't find a place to integrate it naturally, and I thought these dark blue rounded pieces better represented the mech's look in the show. The mech's arms I kept very similar to the original mech. The big difference is now instead of these blades being on the side, they're at the front, so that way it seems like the mech's actually holding on to the blades. That's so that you can just use these as clips if you want to hold on to any accessory, because on the other version of the mech really doesn't have hands. It's got the blade on the side and the stud shooters, but there's no way for it to grab onto anything. So this way my version of the mech can properly hold an accessory. Now you can see those sticker Nexonite shield pieces were removed, but I was able to reincorporate them elsewhere on the build, which you'll see in a moment. Coming to the legs of the mech, I thinned them out quite a bit because they just didn't need to be as bulky as they were in the original set. Part of the reason why the original set's legs are so bulky is because it has to transform into the bike form, but because this of course is not meant to transform and it's meant to be in the mech form permanently, I thought it was fine to thin them out, and that's also sort of closer to how they are in the show. I still kept all the stickered pieces on the legs though. These unfortunately did have to be flipped upside down, but you can see I still got these ones around the sides, and the ones from the arms are now on the inner leg instead. I still kept the white SCSPS joints as like the main base for the legs, and then the feet are done very similarly. They're still connected on a ball joint at the front, though the backs of them are a little bit different, though admittedly a bit worse. Because the original mech has far better balance and also just looks better with these blue pieces at the bottom, but as you saw I incorporated those pieces up higher, so this is just kind of what I was left with. I don't think it looks bad and it's still able to pose. Like here's my mech in a walking pose for example. But that's about everything I have to show you for my mech, and that brings me into the next part of my video. What would I change about this mech if I wasn't trying to limit myself to only parts from the original set? Number one would be the legs. If I could get 2 more of those blue pieces, I would definitely swap the backs of these feet out to match the feet on the original mech. Additionally, I feel like there's something better I could do with like the center of this joint right here. Admittedly, that part doesn't look amazing on the original mech either, but I feel like that's easily the worst looking part of the legs. I incorporated the clips on the arms because in the show the mech does have proper hands, and while I like the idea of giving my mech fingers, the original set just doesn't really have the pieces to do that. But if you are integrated pieces from your own collection, I think individually posable finger pieces like the ones on the Marvel mechs earlier this year would be perfect. I think maybe the front of the cockpit could be cleaned up a bit. I don't think it's bad, but some of the angles are a little bit jagged. I feel like it could smooth it up a bit. Not like the original one super smooth in the first place, like there is exposed technicals and stuff here, but I don't know, I feel like there's a bit more I could do there. And then finally, I think a bit more could be done with the jetpack. In the show, it kind of seems like it's 2 wheels stacked on top of each other to be the jetpack, so I think having a second wheel coming off the top of each would be really cool, but of course the original set only comes with 3 wheels and I only use 2 of them here. And additionally, adding some proper thrusters out the bottom, not just having the wheels, adding maybe like trans red disc pieces to be expelling fire or something. I feel like that would help sell the fact that this is a jetpack. And then finally, to end things off, here's how the 2 different versions of the mech look right next to each other. We of course have the original set version, and then we have my custom version. I want to make it clear this is not meant to be a fix or an upgrade to the original set. I actually love the original set. This is just meant to be an alternate build that's representative of a form in the show that's just not captured in the set. Let me know what you guys think of my custom in the comments below. What kind of changes would you make to it? And if you guys are interested in seeing instructions for this build, make sure to leave a like on this video. And if this video gets to 1,000 likes, I'll make a video on my second channel going through how to do that. But as for this video, I think that's about all I have to say, so thanks for watching everybody. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!